I have been involved with cyber competition for a number of years now. First competition I went to, I took a video camera. It was actually at CASIA, 2007 Western Regional. And one of the students there said to me on camera, I can learn more in these 3 days than in a year's worth of classes. And that's always stuck with me, that the ability to learn a lot in a very short period of time really appeals to me. And the type of experience you get in a competition, what I've learned, is not the type of learning that you get in a traditional class. Two different modes. The class gives you the fundamentals, but the application, the ability to demonstrate in a real-world setting is something competitions can do. So I'm a big believer in competitions. I've been involved with different types of competitions, National Cyber League, CCDC, Cyber Patriot. I really believe that the kids who play in these competitions are a cross between athletes and rock stars. I love the kids that play in these competitions because of the passion that they have. When you go to class, most of the time, you're going to class because you have to go to class. If you're going to play in a cybersecurity competition, you're doing it because you want to. And the pressure you get in a competition is greater than what you get in a class. The embarrassment you get when you don't do well in a competition is greater than any embarrassment you get taking a class. But what I see from employers is the recognition of the demonstration that you can show of what you know in a competition is more in a class, to the point where employers will hire students based on how they do in competitions just as much, if not more sometimes, as what they do in courses. So it's an athlete who's able to perform on the field, and that performance on the field is what attracts a college to hire them out of high school, or give them a scholarship out of high school, or a company approaching to hire a kid to go pro. We have something like that going on in this space. So I was pestering the program director, Victor Piotrowski at NSF, that we have a chance to scale, because in high schools today, 4.5 million boys, 3.2 million girls play organized sports. We know that sports are something that you can do over a long period of time and really get good at. We can do the same thing in cybersecurity. I've been teaching CalPoly since 1992 full-time, before that part-time. I get very, very tired of students that come into our program not knowing what our program is, spend half the time in our program trying to learn what computer information systems is, much less cybersecurity. Toward the end of their time in our program, they suddenly realize this is something that I am interested in. The kids who play in these competitions in middle school and high school, when they go into college, they know from day one what they want. They have the passion, they have the drive, and in more and more cases now, they're going to have experience. The kids who play in Cyber Patriot that do well get internships because of their playing in Cyber Patriot. The kids who played Cyber Patriot because of partnerships with companies like Cisco are now getting Cisco certs alongside playing in Cyber Patriot. It's pretty cool. So the presentation, I'm going to show you a short video. I'm going to explain the Federation. I'm going to do a top 10 cybersecurity competition stories of the year. I'm going to compare a website called MaxPreps to Cyber Patriot, because MaxPreps is the direction that I want our Federation to go in. Talk about a cyber version of the California Interscholastic Federation and what you can do.
By 2020, security space laid out at about $1.4 million. But based on the current stats we have, 2/3 of it could go unfilled because we aren't building a pipeline of talent. We are doing a disservice to ourselves, and we are doing a disservice to our students if we are not encouraging them to participate in real-world experiences to get them prepared for a career in security, and to prepare them with the life skills they need to be successful in that career.
So, why create a federation? There are a lot of really cool competitions going on these days. A lot of people are doing a great job running competitions, but the competitions tend to be run in silos. For example, National Cyber League is a competition that has a virtual season. Cyber Patriot is a competition that has a virtual season. The ones who run each competition really don't communicate much with each other. Cyber Patriot is a defense competition. Pico CTF is a competition run out of Carnegie Mellon that's capture the flag. They don't talk to each other. But I think all competitions really do have shared goals. I think all the competitions want to see some type of learning take place in the competition. I think there's an opportunity to develop metrics in the competition where we can measure performance of those that are playing in the competition. I think all competitions do care about ethics and standards. I think a common code of ethics, just like a common code of ethics in a sport, is something that it would be great to have shared across competitions. A pathway where our kid knows, where do I start? And if I'm interested in a certain type of skill, what's the competition for me? I really think a federation can help promote all of these goals. So that was a reason for trying to form this federation. We've had 4 face-to-face workshops at CalPoly Pomona. We have a white paper now. White paper is being submitted to an ATM conference. If you're interested in seeing the white paper, I'd be happy to send it to you. But some of the highlights that we have in here are what we are. What we do is a focus on communication promotion. Our job is not to run competitions. Our job as the federation is not to tell competitions what they need to be doing, but to help provide information that can help all competitions, that can help communicate to the broader audience what each competition is doing. So there's the National Football League. They care about their own league. And then there's ESPN, which promotes not only National Football League, but every sport. There are 3 major types of cybersecurity competitions today. There's forensics, there's capture the flag, and there's the defense competition. There is a real opportunity to communicate to a much broader audience what these competitions are. I did a video on North Hollywood winning Cyber Patriot. The reason I did the video wasn't to really reach kids. It wasn't to reach those that are in competitions. It was to reach parents. It was to reach schools that are afraid of their students being involved in cybersecurity because they think, well, if our kids learn cybersecurity, they're going to hack our schools, which is a common perception for a lot of schools out there. It also ignores the fact that you get the kids involved in playing a sport of cybersecurity, they're not going to play in the street. So that I really would want a much bigger audience involved in understanding what we're trying to do in competitions. We do not want to infringe on the business model the competitions have. The goal is not to go after sponsors and take sponsors away from existing competitions. What we can do is help the audience that we're trying to reach understand what is the knowledge that students gain from competitions. What are the skills that they gain? What are the abilities that they gain? What are the fields that competitions help prepare you to go into? Are competitions team and individual? What's the difference between a team competition and an individual competition? And how do you know if you can or should play in a competition? So the question, I asked John in the last session about the age requirement. We really will have competitions, cyber competitions for kids from grade school through middle school, through high school, through college, but we have to communicate what those competitions are. And in some cases, there may be a high school kid who's ready to go pro. I'm seeing that type of talent today with the high schools that we work with. But the real goal in a sport is not for the few, it's to create a critical mass. Branch Rickey, who created the farm system in baseball, had a great quote, out of quantity comes quality. So we get 1 million kids in grade school playing in cyber competitions. We are going to get thousands of really, really good kids going pro, maybe tens of thousands. The difference between cybersecurity as a sport and other sports, I can be really good in baseball. I can be best player on my baseball team, and I may not even play in college. I can be really good in college, and I'll never play pro. But if I'm really good in cybersecurity in high school, I've got a great chance of going to college for cybersecurity, and I've got a great chance of going pro. The percentage, the chance of going pro in this field, learning through competitions and what we do in the classroom, is exponentially greater than in traditional sport. So this month I'm going to start a weekly broadcast on news and cybersecurity competitions. And one of the things I'm going to do to kick it off is top 10 stories of last year. So I'll give this a shot. Digital Forensics Research Workshop has a forensics challenge. In a sense, it's taken over the void that was created when DC3 stopped running their competitions. Did anyone hear of DC3? DC3 was a really, really cool forensics competition with different levels, novice level, intermediate, expert level. Had very, very good challenges, and they lost their funding. One of the goals of the Federation is to support competitions, help connect competitions to funding. So Jim Christie, who was running DC3, was at our last workshop, and we're already working with him. But Forensics made a comeback this year with the Forensics Challenge. They had two types of challenges. They had a practitioner challenge, where the goal was to show what you can do in forensics. It was taking apart Android malware, and then they had the research, which is show how you can create tools that will help you in forensics. Both of those challenges were run by teams that are overseas. The practitioner challenge was won by a team in Singapore, and the research one, the tool creation one, was won by a team in China. So we may not have the best athletes in this sport. Number 9, U.S. Military Academy wins 14th annual CDX competition. This is one of the original cyber defense competitions. Started with the military academies, Air Force, Navy, West Point, And the dominant team over the 14 years has been the military academy. They've won 7 out of 14. But before last year, the Air Force Academy was winning the competitions. And one of the interesting things with the timing of this is just before the collegiate cyber defense competition, the one where all these schools across the country have a chance to play. So the Air Force would go straight from playing in CDX to CCDC. They almost pulled it off 2 years ago, where they won CDX and they were neck and neck until the end in the collegiate cyber defense competition and lost at the end to University of Washington. Number 8, National Cyber League. National Cyber League is 3 years old now, had record participation this year, up to about 1,500 players, and so the success of NCL this year was a great accomplishment. Number 7, Cyber Patriot created the middle school division last year, and we had our first middle school team that won a national championship in cybersecurity. It was from San Pedro, California. This year they have a lot more middle school teams playing now. What Cyber Patriots has proven is that you can have 7th graders, 8th graders that can spend 6 hours hardening images and playing the same game that the high school kids play. Number 6 is Clearfield High School. Clearfield, I think, has been on the medal stand twice in Cyber Patriot in the 7 years. Last year, their ROTC team won the All-Service Division Championship. Number 5, PICO CTF, which is a relatively new Capture the Flag competition started by Carnegie Mellon. Started last year, they had 1,900 teams. This year they had over 3,700 teams play. And last year it was won by Dos Pueblos. It's a high school in Santa Barbara area. This year they had a 4-way tie at the top of the leaderboard, Dos Pueblos. I'm not sure what Manalapan is. I think it's on the East Coast. Thomas Jefferson High School Science and Technology, I believe, is in Virginia, and there are 2 teams from TGH SST. PICO CTF, if you ever get a chance, it's the easiest competition I've seen to play. And it's more like a video game than other competitions, so it's got a very nice interface to enjoy. You just go to picoctf.com. It takes 30 seconds to create an account, and you can play. Now, if you're not a middle school or a high school team, you're not eligible for prizes. But anybody can play, and it is free. And they have a scenario about this kid whose father was abducted, and the kid has to play the detective to find out where the father went, and he has to solve all kinds of flag challenges in order to do so. It's pretty cool. Number 4 is Carnegie Mellon, which does have a Capture the Flag team that wins international competition. So this is an example of the U.S. team that does do well in international competition. Seesaw is a very, very cool competition that is run by New York Polytechnic. They've been running it for 11 years. They have a variety of competitions at Seesaw. CTF is the original one. Carnegie Mellon PPP won, PPP 2 took first place and second place. And on the second place team this year, Carolina Zarate, as a freshman from Poolsville High School, played on the Carnegie Mellon team. It's like going from high school in the first year and playing on the championship team. It was pretty cool. I did a video on Seesaw that's going to be up on the Federation website, and it's a lot of fun to hear Carolina talk about why she does these competitions, what she gets out of them. Number 3 is Poolsville. They're also part of the Seesaw video. Poolsville High School from Maryland won the Seesaw Digital Forensics High School Forensics Competition. The coach from Poolsville is in the video, Mark Estep. It's pretty cool to talk to him, because it's just like talking to the coach for North Hollywood High School, who I am going to show the video of. I really, really enjoy the players, and when I see a coach that has passion for their kids playing in competitions, I get the exact same feeling. a coach for these cyber teams is just as cool as a really, really good high school basketball or high school football coach or water polo coach. That the passion they have for what their kids learn, it's a combination of an academic passion because the kids are learning something that can carry them into a career, but it's also the sheer joy of competition, which is what you get from a sport. So I was very impressed with Toolset. Number 2 is the North Hollywood team that won Cyber Patriot Open Division. I'll be showing some videos on that. And number 1, University of Central Florida, won CCDC, went to the White House and met with Vice President Biden, had their picture on the Jumbotron in Times Square. So they got some really nice national press out of winning CCDC. Who knows what Max Prep is? Yeah, you have to be into high school sports to appreciate Max Prep. So Max Prep now is run by CBS Sports. It is the place. If you're playing a high school sport or you're following a high school sport, it is the place to go. So here it is. And you can find out anything you want to know about your high school team playing the sport here. 5 years from now, or Liz, we're going to have Max Prep for cyber. So, that leader, ranking, recruiting, schedule, the ranking. So this is baseball. I want to put basketball. So, Finlay is still in Henderson, Nevada. They're doing very well this year. You can drill down and find out whatever you want about them, the team staff. So we're in the early stages of our sport. But I already see we're going to have this. National Cyber League is trying to take the lead in terms of stats. Any kid who plays in National Cyber League gets a scouting report. That scouting report is going to help the kids get jobs in the future. So this is what you can see on Max Preps for a basketball team. Okay, Cyber Patriot has a website. This is a picture of the North Hollywood team. Cyber Patriot does a lot of cool things because they have a season. Actually, it's year-round now. If you go to the timeline, please try to jump in and fight me. Yeah.
And there are security gains about privacy that I think can be privacy and maybe
Pico, I really encourage you to check out Pico. Because Pico is doing a great job of making it easy, making it visual, and making it learning. Cyber Siege, I played a few years ago, and it just seemed a little cumbersome. I agree. See, the ability to partner with gaming companies could be huge. Yeah, I think we have stats right now. When you play Cyber Patriot, you're hardening images that are different flavors of Windows, Linux, and then you have a Cisco component, and you get a score for each image. When you're playing on a team, they look for you to play a role on a team. So every Cyber Patriot team looks for the Windows expert, looks for the Linux expert, looks for the Cisco expert, and we can start measuring how that player performs. Yes.
So you're saying you could basically end up with attitude cyber. It's a big industry right now.
I know. Once we get a few years under our belt, I think we used to kid about that with National Cyber League to get to the point of having a fantasy league. David, how far away are we? Yeah, actually LAUSD wants to do badges for Cyber Patriot, and LAUSD is probably going to be doing that this year. They've already started down that road. And you know, the question is, well, what do you have to do to get the badge? Is it going to be based on a score that you get, a Windows badge for getting a certain score on the Windows images? And is it a badge that goes to the team? How do you assign it? I think we're going to So this is North Hollywood High School. This is where they do their practice sessions. It's an old high school, but they have some pretty talented kids in the old high school, and they have a coach. So NBC spent 3 hours out at North Hollywood High School in the middle of the Sony attack. You're going to see the local CNBC story. And I have to get that in. I have to set up the internet.
The Internet of Everything is giving everything a voice. Cisco, tomorrow starts here.
Looking to protect themselves from hackers, some companies are turning to North Iowa high school students like life. They're the national champions in cybersecurity. They've got their own idea on how to really fix this attack. This is what they can. What I'm using right now with these students who are very much advanced. And like I said, these students have gotten military generals and with foreign power, all because they segregated trying to prevent attacks like the one that happened at 20. And they have suggestions that all of us could learn from. So most of us are on Facebook and Instagram. These kids are thinking about firewalls and viruses. North Hollywood High School students feel because it's how good they really are. National champions in competition on cybersecurity.
A lot of them are uncovering for a lot of them are just knowing what to typically know, not typically know.
Their specialty is touching computer networks from hackers. The game time that broke into Sony last month and full city of the campus release have looked in the interview. And in fact, so sophisticated, these students think it was playing drumming dance.
There's always probably real technology trying to find a simple, a single vulnerability, and it really just puts down everything. And so that's why it's not your everyday hacker, user, the couple of hackers.
Hackers are such a threat now. Computer science students like these are in high demand. After North Hollywood High won the national competition in March, there were meetings with military generals and offering a college internship. Also, classes started as a way to get kids away from video games and out of the house.
Your parents are just so happy. They're like associating with other real games. And this is everything is computer science.
The students are now aiming for their second state national title, and for the rest of us who also vulnerabilities. These kids are going to safeguard my retirement fund. The kids do act like the rest of us at times. They think when they have a problem they cannot solve, it is super.
It makes them look cool. And so our new site could be called cyberfed.org. It is prototype right now. It'll be a much better site a month from now. It'll be a much better site 6 months from now. But I encourage you to go through it over the next 6 months, provide feedback on what you'd like to see, what you don't like about it. This is what CyberPatriot gives you after a competition. This is the level of information that they give you. So these are the platinum teams, top platinum teams in the country, and January 17th are the semifinals. The top 12 teams in the open division for platinum get all expenses paid trip to DC for the finals. So you see the image score. The image score is based on Windows and Cisco, the Cisco score and the cumulative score. And you can see Alabama is the top team in the country, Grissom High School. I emailed the coach for Grissom. I'll be doing an interview with her, Christine Sutton. In the email response, this is what she said. It's pretty cool for a high school teacher to say that about her kids. But this part, it speaks like a sport.
Cyber Club.
Yeah, that's the name. It's kind of fun to see the names that these teams come up with. So, speaking of that, Max Prep's top 25 high school basketball teams in the country. So you can see the state, the school, and a rating that they get. So Finley is from Nevada. You saw the Finley page. They are the top high school basketball team as of the time that they did the ring. So we have the cyber version of that. So these are the top 25 open division CyberPatriot teams as of today. Grissom High School CyberSlop. North Hollywood has 2 teams in the top 4. The Azure team, which won last year, and then the Silver team, which has 3 girls, 2 boys on it. But you can see that we have a top 25 cyber for high school. And they're basically all around the country, including Canada.
I don't know how to put it. Or team not down.
I like this one too. These kids are cool. And what's interesting with some of the kids that I've met, if they didn't have this, they'd be lost. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Jay, who's the coach for North Hollywood, says is the parents are ecstatic about these kids doing this because it means they're not in their room by themselves all the time. They're actually out playing with other kids. They're learning how to play on a team. They're learning life skills that they wouldn't be doing without this type of opportunity. So that's national. So Max Preps also has top 25 for California. Top 25 basketball teams in California. Yeah, Folsom looks pretty good. Gila South, Sacramento. Is it Sacramento? So is it just the Sacramento high schools have to? Okay. So we've got a top 25 in basketball, California. We've got a top 25 in cyber for California. Yeah, I know we've got a breakup North Hollywood. They're getting too strong.
Yeah, boy.
What's interesting is until last year, there was a perception that teams from LUSD would never be on the medal stand because the teams that were winning were academies. They were prep schools from the East Coast. And what's cool now is it shows any public high school can field a winning cyber pager team. Yeah. Yeah. And first year North Hollywood played, they didn't play well. I guarantee you Granite Bay is going to get better every year, and it wouldn't surprise me all 3 years from now they were on the medal stand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you stay with this, you get better. Yeah. So, how about this? How about if we were to create in California a cyber equivalent of CIF by divisions, and we start having it go down to the league level. So you get bragging rights for being the best team in your league, just like in CIF. California has 415 teams playing in Cyber Pages this year, up from 225 last year, more than any other team in the country, any other state in the country. It's going to be much greater. I met with AFA chapters a few weeks ago, and they were talking out the number of 1,000 teams in California next year. And so I talked out my own idea.
Let's have a summary.
So California has an opportunity. We can become the leader in turning this into a high school sport. I think if we build an environment, kids are going to play. And I think the more that kids play, the more schools are going to get excited about this. And the more we can break down the FUD that schools have around kids playing cyber. Right. So CIF is the California Federation. When we submitted the grant, we used the same language that the National Federation of High School Associations has, which is the umbrella over high school sports. And the sports that are under the NFHS umbrella include dance, speech, debate, theater. They have a category called emerging sports. Last year, bass fishing became an emerging sport. So I figure if bass fishing can be considered an emerging sport, we can be an emerging sport. So there's an opportunity for all of you that are involved with colleges. That John talked about in his last session, that requiring the kids who do cyber aces have to do outreach. The reason North Hollywood won the national championship, you can easily list a half dozen reasons, but I'll list one reason, is that kids that play in our college competitions mentor them. And your students can mentor high school teams very well. And what they will get from mentoring is something they won't get from taking classes. They become teachers. I have the website here, but I want to show this video. Actually, I have two videos. There's one video with two clips in place. So this is, for me, an opportunity. What Jay's going to talk about is let me go ahead and plug it in with Jay.
to me, looking at it in 2020 hindsight, the biggest values about college education are not the actual classwork, it's all the experiences that are around that classwork, whether it's competing in the college level cyber competition, CCDC, or if you're majoring in chemistry, working in a professor's lab, or working on the school newspaper. There's just a tremendous number of outside of classroom skills to be doing fun. So, whenever you're helping you teach somebody something, you're growing as a person, you're growing in knowledge of the subject of the skills. So this is giving you guys, the college students, experience with you. Any college or university in the country has students in it that are studying things that are valued by the paper. Secondary education in America, in my mind, has gotten very much about individual achievement and achievement in areas that frankly aren't very real world. I mean, how many multiple choice tests do we take as adults in our lives? The students learn how to work together as a team. And that's really hard for peers to go and be working together collaboratively without somebody in charge telling them what to do. And so basically these kids are all peers. They're each team kind of has maybe an informal leader, maybe somebody like that more knowledgeable, but mostly they just work as a team together. And this is something they just don't experience in secondary education. But it's precisely what the world of work is. Because very few people work as individuals. You work as part of a team sometimes. And people you have to get along with. And if you can't get along with people and work with them and just kind of divide up tasks and stuff, you don't do very well, and you're not very successful. So this brings in a whole new set of learning that doesn't really sound much in classes.
A little bit more about Jay. He taught band for 27 years. He has a bachelor's degree in music. He would take his band team to city and state championships. He's applying the same thing he learned with his band team to his cyber team. And the passion he has is the same reason he has a passion for the band, for playing in bands. He's very concerned, and he has reason to be concerned about the state of K-12 education. So while I really want more cyber in the curriculum during the day, I don't think it's enough. I don't think any school will ever have enough during the day. The nice thing about after school is that it is much more flexible. It's much more creative. So kids who play after school can have more passion than they have if they're just sitting in a class. And the learning experience can be much richer. With Cyber Patriot, kids can do this now for 6 years before college. So I feel like I'm an advocate for Cyber Patriot, but if I'm going to be putting on my federation hat, it's all of these competitions. Pico CTF, the high school forensics competition. Kids should be doing this in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And the Federation is supporting what they can do outside the classroom. Questions? Yeah. I look at the sports pages a lot. And I really start to think, how can we make the sports pages? Yeah. But it happens now. Google Cyber Patriot all the time. And all of these teams that are in the top get news coverage. Even teams that don't do well get news coverage. All right, let me show you one more place.
Because I have a video clip that I think is really useful. You're showing it. But this is a look at it.
I'm Joanna Brown, and I'm from Philadelphia High School. And I'm Gabriella, and I'm from Philadelphia High School. And I'm the team captain of the Patriot team at the program. And basically, right now we're competing in a national competition, and the goal is to secure the workstation's gain points, and that's how we rank up. One of the things that taught me is basically how to work as a team. Like before this, we were just enjoying it, but this program and this competition has taught us how important it is to work together, because if we did this all alone, we didn't communicate, we're in the platinum round right now, we're at the top, and if we didn't communicate with each other, we wouldn't.
Have you tried looking it up on the internet, or you tried following yeah, all of the links.
We're doing we're doing Windows 7, Windows Vista, we're doing the Cisco Calendar, the Cisco Creative, and the Pocket Traces, and so far we're doing all of them at once. We have 6 hours to do so, and right now we have about less than 3 hours remaining. And so, yeah, it's kind of stressful, but we're getting there, and we're working together. So, yeah, really enjoying it.
And so you're right about the newspapers, and it's critical, and we're going to see it.
Because it's a great story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. All the time I tell students to find ways to differentiate themselves. If you're a mentor for Cyber Patriot, it almost doesn't matter how the team did, you've differentiated yourself.
Have World Warcraft builds that are associated with the sport. So it's something that's more fun, more maybe tricky. It's something that people are doing already.
So you're saying the value is in the actual gaming, that the World of Warcraft game itself has enough value. I don't know. I do know that gaming is huge. But I want this to be huge. Thank you.